Yeah, Atlassian Roundup, the journey of a software requirement. So we will start creating the software requirement in Confluence and ship it then afterwards to Jira, try to push it in the sprint, and also report the status back from Jira to Confluence. First, we have prepared some 80s lookalike graphic from the Atlassian tool stack. So you see there are numerous tools which can assist you in various things like planning, development, quality assurance, and also support. And in the middle you see seamless integration. So it's very easy to integrate these tools together. There's also this first-class integration between Jira and Confluence. I'll show you afterwards. But also you can see there are quite a lot of other tools. May I ask you a question? Who is using Jira and Confluence right now? Raise your hands. Oh, a lot of people. Who knows Bamboo Stash? Yeah, some less people. And Service Desk, we also have a Service Desk. Who uses it? Okay. And who is interested to use it? Yeah, also some guys. Good to know. You see some other people here in the audience are already using Jira Portfolio. It's about planning based on existing Jira projects. We will have, if we have enough time, I will also show you a short demonstration about Jira Portfolio. Yeah, most of you are using Jira Agile for doing Scrum. And what else we have? I mean, these are not so popular tools. Crucible is for code reviews. Clover is for static code analysis, and capturing is really making screenshots and push it directly to Jira to resolve defects, for example. I mean, if you have some questions regarding some particular tool, please ask us during the breakout sessions, because there's no time to tell you stories about all these tools. The journey. We're gonna start here in Confluence, where we define our specification or software specification using templates. So we have a consistent view on a specification, then we move it with the first class integration to Jira. So we create a user story in Jira, link to this specification, and then we go over, we implement this using Stash, we really make a live commit based on this story, and then you see it's automatically, this automatic transition from open in progress. This will be part of Bamboo Stash session. We report back status, for example, for business people, which want to follow the progress. And then here is the section improve. It's all about improving your content in Confluence and really act on this content. But I will tell you afterwards more about it. What is Confluence? Just a basic introduction. I know you know everything about Confluence. Therefore, I'm not telling you basics like searching, creating content. Today, I will highlight new features of Jira and Confluence. And maybe this is a good starting point for you to upgrade your existing instances. First, it's the one place for collaboration, to find content, to share content, and what's new, to also gathering feedback on a new level. You know, gathering feedback is something, you write a command, you wait for your colleague for a next command, but now it's quite different and improved, this whole feedback loop, sorry. I will show you more afterwards. Then we have the first class integration between those tools and the integration to other tools, development tools. It's a trusted and extensible platform. Extensible, you know, there are a lot of plugins available for all different kinds of purposes. And it follows the reduced email principle. Somebody of you know zero email is a very popular keyword. It's about going away from the typical email inbox to push everything in Confluence, to also drive the whole communication in this collaboration platform. And here we have this loop. It's creating content, also discover, so your colleagues can search for the content, can act on it. On it means giving review, comments on it, and then improve it, create other content. So actually, Confluence is great for, I mean, all various kinds of teams. But it's great also for software teams. So software teams can share their ideas, can share their product specification, requirement specification to build better products, of course. And it's good for IT teams. With the integration to Service Desk, you also get a good collaboration with the Service Desk agents. And it's also good for centralizing your documentation, infrastructure code, not code, but infrastructure documentation, policies, whatever. And the third big player or role is the business teams. Confluence is great for making transparent decisions. So you can really discuss decisions based on Confluence, can gather feedback from your colleagues, from developers, just to grow your business and make business better and faster. So I want to highlight new features. So no basics, new features. One feature which is available since Confluence 5.7 is files are first-class citizens. What does it mean? You know it's very easy to upload files. You can easily drag and drop it directly in the page. But now you can also have an advanced preview of your files. I mean, preview sounds not spectacular, but you can use these previews for putting also review comment directly in the files. And there we are. It's really simplifying the whole feedback loop. So gathering feedback from your colleagues is very easy. You can put review comments directly on text, on the page, or directly on slides, for example. So if I make a slide for today, for example, and want to ask my colleagues, is it good? Are there some typos in it? They can attach these slides to Confluence and then push directly the comments on the file, or directly on a particular slide. Another gadget in Confluence is Roadmap. Roadmap is a very simple way of visualizing your roadmap, your release roadmap, for example. And you can also highlight those milestones. So it's really I would say, the small brother of portfolio. And you can also link those milestones, or most of you know work packages. You can link it then to pages. A nice feature for those guys which are not using Portfolio, for example, as a starting point. So what is Jira? I mean, most of you know. It's a tracking, or it's a platform for planning, track your issues over the whole life cycle. So from the creation phase till the implementation phase, from building, code review, you can track everything, and you can include the whole participants. You can include the quality assurance guys, the developer guys. You can restrict them with different kinds of permissions, and enables the collaboration across different teams. And it's a very flexible tool. I mean, you know how easy it is to change workflows, to introduce new workflows, and you can do it by your own without hiring external developers, which changing XML just to get a new status or workflow up and running. What are the new features in Jira? If you have already upgraded, you know this Release Hub. Release Hub is a very high-level view on the current project, on a project status. So you don't need to dig through all your issues to get the status. You get it on a high level, so you see which issues are open, closed, can I really match the release date as specified. A next feature for administrator, a very handsome feature I would say, is the workflow validator. So now it's very easy, if you create a workflow, to check this workflow. If are there some dead-end transitions, for example, or you have some permission issues, you can really detect it with the workflow validator. So you don't need to, log in as the user and try the workflow out. You can use the validator for it. And workflow triggers. Georg will use this workflow trigger. So workflow trigger is a very powerful feature of Jira to automatically make a transition from open in progress, for example, as soon the developer commits on an issue. So there is no manual work necessary in order to make a transition, so it can be done automatically. He will show you a practical example. And new sidebar, not so huge feature or major feature, but at least it's a very effective way of navigating through Jira. So I have a new sidebar on project level with all important information here. So you don't need to click issues, filters, you can go directly to your issues, to your release hub. You can define your components, and you can also attach here some custom links, for example, to interesting resources. So I'll switch over to the live demonstration and show you these features I mentioned before in the live demo. Yeah, it's working. Great. So I have to log in. So you see Confluence. I log in as a demo user. So what you can see here is the dashboard, which you already know, most of you, where you see the most important information, what's going on in your Confluence instance, the activity streams of the people, and also here it's using team calendar, also the upcoming important events for your teams, colleagues, which you can track here. But you know everything in Confluence is divided in spaces. So we have here a demo space, it's called Teams in Space. So we are switching to this space. And the first thing I want to show the creation of a requirement. How to create one requirement. First we select the parent page where we want to attach this page, and hopefully it's large enough. You can create it by easily select a template. So a template is also a very powerful feature to have consistent content in your Confluence instance. And here we have one, it's called product requirement. So we create this. Here's some description, and here we go, the template. We have here some introduction text, so to get some additional information, what I should fill in here, and also the page title. I mean, you know most of this. Yeah, use templates for having consistent content in your Confluence instance. I will close this. I mean, anyway, I cannot type with one hand. I will close this, and we take an existing storage called mobile web application requirements, sorry, and I show you now the feedback loop. So let's assume I'm a colleague, I want to review this content. What I can do now, make in-page review comments by selecting a text. So I select, for example, a text. I want to mention here that the guy should also define the goals for all various mobile platforms. So I wait till this review icon pops up, and I can type my comment. I will do it one-handed, so just take some while. Okay, now, I mean, anyway, you should use something more meaningful, but I can save this review comment, and let's assume I also want to make a comment here. Now it's also the right time to show another improvement. For example, here we have a huge table, and you see if I scroll down, the header stays here. So this is a really big improvement for those people which are using huge tables, and it's making navigation and the overview much better. And also you can make automatic numbering of your tables, and also the table handling gets more easier. You can simply copy-paste columns. You know how painful it is sometimes to copy content from a table to another table. Now it's getting more easier. This was introduced since Confluence, I think 5.8.4. But let's assume I want to make a review comment directly on a JPEG. Here you see a mock-up, a draft for a mobile app. And I can open it in a preview. This is the new preview feature, and I can really drag and drop this review comment here, push it to the right place, and I can also enter some comment here, missing footer. And also, the guys which are involved in this discussion can start the discussion here on this review comment, and as soon as I have introduced this footer, I have improved this mockup, I can resolve this. Now it's resolved, and I can also see, there's still a review comment. I can also resolve this as an author and improve the content. So you can see here the whole feedback loop and resolve it also. And now let's assume this specification is approved. We don't have a workflow here, but it's also possible to make an approval workflow. But now we want to get this specification to Jira. One way of doing this is inserting a Jira issue gadget. And we want to create a new issue in Jira, select a project. It's a story, a user story, and no auto-suggestion. Yeah, I'm using a shortcut. Mobile requirement, and we click save. I mean, you know this. Save again. Now we have the newly created issue here with the current status, and click on this issue, and then we will be automatically redirected to Jira. I do it right now. Hopefully I'm logged in. Yeah, seems to be the case. Okay, now this is the typical issue detail view, which you already know. But what we want to do now, we want that some developer pick this issue and start the implementation phase. How are you going to do this? As I told you before, we can use the new sidebar. So here we can directly go to the backlog view. For those people who don't know what the backlog, a collection of stories, requirements, should be implemented. And now we say it should be implemented in the current sprint, in the current iteration phase. So we scroll down, and somewhere we should find our mobile requirement story here. And we move it to the current sprint. Normally it's not good to add additional effort to a sprint, but we do it. Anyway, it's not estimated. No story points here. And we move it to the current sprint. Just drag and drop it here. Now we get a warning, the scope of the sprint is affected. I mean, it's not affected, no story points there, but anyway, it's good to have this warning. We confirm it, and now it's ready to implement. We can also check this board view here. You see mobile requirement. I don't want to implement it right now. I have a colleague for this, it's Georg. He will then implement this requirement, so a dummy implementation, let's say, and then you will see the automatically transition from to do to in progress. Yeah, most of you know the HR boards. You can have your boards reflecting the current status of your issues, but that's not so interesting right now. Interesting is the release hub. So the release hub gives you a high-level overview about what's going on in your project for a particular release. For 3.0, for example, we have still a lot of work to do. So 12 issues are open, and I can check exactly what is open. For example, clicking here, I don't need these filters anymore. You have these predefined filters. And what's a very cool features, I mean, you already know this, is also I can directly create the release notes directly from the release hub. So I go back. Yeah, and you can also, this is for the portfolio guys, very interesting. I can also manage my release dates here and sync them to Jira Portfolio. And of course, I have reports. You know this, burn down charts, burn up charts, various reports, and the way directly search for issues within this project. So let's assume we want to report the current project status in Confluence. So I can switch back to Confluence and select again our famous demo space. Select some page. And for this, seems I had an open change. I discarded, it's from my side. And I will use again the Jira gadget. Now I have to type again. So what we're going to see here, we want to see all issues from project, teams in space, and from the current sprint. I know it by heart, but it's sprint number 8. And what else? Let's say issue type story, and should work. I get an output, or I can also see it on all issue levels. I just remove this, and you see I insert this. I also can type preview, but here you say for a manager, for example, he has the perfect overview. What's going on right now in the current sprint? What are my issues and what is the status of these issues? I completely lost time. How much minutes I have left? I don't know. 5 minutes? Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, this is painful because, yeah. Anyway, so it's a little bit time left for showing you Jira Portfolio. It's a very popular planning tool in Jira. I mean, the only one at the moment. There are some alternatives for making planning easier on top of Jira. So we have here our plan. It's called Plan. And what you can see here is the epics. Let's also call this or consider this as work packages. Most of you know it better saying work packages. And under these work packages you have user stories. And the crucial part here, you can play around, for example, with estimations. You can really answer these what-if questions. What if I hire an additional guy in my team? What is the impact on my release dates? So I can here enter my release date, my fixed release date. Let's say in 2 months I have to release some new feature. And what about my capacities? Do I have this capacity? Do I need additional resources for this? This is what you can do in Portfolio. So it's also including resource planning. So my people, my teams. We have here 2 teams. They are responsible for different milestones. And let's make a short demo. So I'm not so well prepared for this. I was too fast. But let's say here's the backlog. You see here the release stones, the milestones here. These are my planned releases for my software. And now we want to see the impact if I kick out some guy from Gemini crew. And yeah, this is a hardworking guy, 50 hours per week. And let's delete him. So we deleted the resources, and now we want to see the impact on the backlog. So I have to recalculate my plan. As you see, nothing changed. Not so much. I still match my release dates, but I'm not sure Gemini crew. Let's kick out some other guy, and let's recalculate. So, as I said, I'm not so well prepared for this demo, but anyway, come on, I kick out another guy. We should see that we do not match a release date. I mean, I can also increase the estimation, but I want to show this like impossible. So I increased the estimation for, oh, this was already, I think. Let's increase the estimation for this. Yeah, doesn't work so really. Maybe the portfolio guys afterwards can explain me what I'm doing wrong here. But I want to mention, anyway, we should see here the impact, and this bar will get a red, like me now. And yeah, you will see that you don't match the release date. What I want to mention here is you can also import the estimation from projects, which are estimated by your developer. Import these figures here, the estimation points or story points, and see the impact on your release dates. And you can also modify those estimations. If you think, yeah, some feature will take longer, you can change it directly here and synchronize it back to your project. Like apply updates to projects. Yeah, this is all about Jira Portfolio. What it makes very interesting is that you can also do cross-project planning within one plan. So you can include more projects, and you can also do planning without having a Jira project. So just to, I don't know, to see your release dates, your milestones, and yeah, just document it instead of using Excel or some other famous solution.